Hello 30 Rockers and welcome back to 30 Rock. Today is day 58 and I got treated like so many of you did to just an absolutely fantastic gold medal hockey game. Congratulations go to Canada. Unfortunately the USA could not pull it off against a just extremely talented Canadian team. Regardless, I think anybody who saw the game enjoyed it, had a great time, and I did have some pizza and beer today, and I told you that I probably would, but I wasn't 100% sure until I got this great idea to have this the pizza place over by us that a friend of mine owns decorate some pizzas with USA on top of them and pepperoni, and they looked great. So I want to talk a little bit about, and the other thing is that for probably one of the first times that I've had non-raw food, and I felt just the energy get sucked out of me. I felt my stomach feeling bloated and uncomfortable. It was a great time, but as far as like some of those things that I've been kind of waiting to see if they would happen, they happened today. And part of it is probably due to the quantity. A lot of times when I was eating something that was non-raw, I was very mindful of the portion, and I just wasn't at all. So just let myself get caught up in the moment and everything. And I wanted it. I mean, that was the other part of it. And that brings me back to the food addiction. A lot of great comments on food addiction so far. And one of the things last night, right after I had finished shooting 30 Rock for day 57, in my email there was an email from someone who was thinking about trying raw for 30 days. And shared that she was afraid. She said, I'm afraid, and I didn't realize the attachment I have to foods. And I resonated with that and got back to her on my thoughts on that. But it's really interesting that, even after, this today, going back 100% raw tomorrow, there is that, boy, I should have one more piece because I know I'm not going to have pizza again for a really long time. Some of those things that kind of get in the way in dealing with food addiction. Now, somebody properly, I think, pointed out that truly it's not a food addiction. It's what we're addicted to is things that stand in as foods when you're on the standard American diet. There are so much processing, so many chemicals, so many things in what we call food that to call it a food addiction is probably inaccurate. At the same time, I think that in order to get people from point A to point B to understand that there's something, before you can start even understanding all the processing and what that really means, you have to understand if you've got a problem with food as you understand it, before you can totally turn your understanding of food on its head and go, okay, that wasn't food. And that was a bunch of processed chemicals and byproducts put together to resemble what I think is food. And it seems easy now, and I've been around raw foods for a long time, but had you brought that concept to me even 3 or 4 years ago, there were certain things that I had strong beliefs on, as far as, I didn't think dairy needed to be a part of anybody's diet unless it's an infant from its mother. But it is I think that as folks are out there and as we're all trying to learn this, coming up with that understanding that it's not food, it was brought up that, I'm not addicted to a great salad. Not addicted because, especially a great raw salad, there's nothing in there. It's what my body needs, and that's why we see so many things reverse. And so we'll be talking about addiction much more. And one of the things that I realized, I know I've talked about doing this food journal, and I've always found a reason why it can't happen, and I think part of that might be due to my own addictions. And what I mean by that is that I tell you everything that goes into my body, and so if I'm eating non-raw, I tell you that, and by journaling, what that does is if I have a day or if something were to happen, it almost makes it where it's that much more. There's even more accountability, even though I'm doing it on the afterthought now. Now I've got to, while I'm making this choice, document it, and I think it'd be really hard to eat what I don't want to be eating if I'm documenting it in a written format. And so maybe I've left that as my, like if I was jotting down how many pieces of pizza or how many beers I had today, I don't know. I think I probably would have had less because of the accountability factor. And that may be the reason why I haven't pushed that piece open. And so, as a vehicle for my own food journey, I am going to start to journal those things while I have them, so that, well, and by those things I mean while I have anything. Because I think it's going to potentially help me make better choices. I know that I felt better last night than I do tonight. And the only difference is what I ate. Yesterday 100% raw, today not. I know what 100% raw feels like, and I like what it feels like a lot. And so, and I saw the results. So again, today was, again, one of these planned things. I have no more planned things. I refuse to plan anything else. I'm still not sure what Thanksgiving would look like without turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy. And I'm holding out that maybe it'll look like turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy, but I have no other plans. I am committing again to 100% raw foods, and while that's primarily what I've been, I've just seen that adding in any amount of cooked foods at this time just feeds addiction, and I don't want to feed addiction. I want to conquer it. So until tomorrow, keep making great choices out there and rock on.